19 months since the two buildings were gutted by the fire in January last year, causing severe damage to the National Assembly building and totally collapsing the chamber. The parliamentary precinct is currently a hive of construction activity. The reconstruction of the buildings has started in earnest with the removal of rubble over the last 2 weeks.
This rubble removal will continue until October. At the same time that this work is taking place, there is a team also of assessors who are assessing the stability of some of the structures inside to determine whether they should be demolished or they should be maintained as part of the preparation for the construction of the National Assembly. So that work is continuing simultaneously because once they are done with the assessment of the structural stability and the strength, then they will be able then to make a determination on how the design of the new structure will be. So that come next year, 2024, February, the actual work of construction starts.
Trade union Nehawu is relieved about these developments, but it also wants accountability for what it says is the negligence that led to the fire, as it believes that it could have been prevented.
We are happy about the rebuilding phase, the restoration phase of Parliament. We are happy about that because it brings hope. At least a number of employees will be able to come back once the rebuilding is concluded. But we are not happy because up until now, we don't know who are the culprits. We know that the banning of Parliament will not have occurred if certain decisions by certain members of the management of Parliament were not taken. And I think it will be wrong if we can proceed as if nothing happened. So we believe that the rebuilding phase must also go on hand in hand with the consequence management in terms of taking action against those people who are responsible.
Nehawu says while it welcomes the start of the rebuilding of the two historical parliamentary buildings, it also wants to see the final fire report being released urgently.
And we know, as we are here, that there was investigation that was conducted. We know because as a union went there to give evidence, we're the complainants as well as a union where we said an investigation should be conducted. So we expect a report to be issued. We'll definitely approach the Secretary to Parliament formally. We'll write to him to request the report. If it's not ready, we'll request him to fast-track the process of the issuing of the report. We are happy about the rebuilding, but we are not happy that up until now, we don't know what happened on the day, and the public as well, because the money that is being used here to rebuild Parliament is from the public purse. So the public of the Republic of South Africa has got a right to know exactly what happened, so that an action should be taken, but also to ensure that in future we avoid similar consequences and situations.
However, says the fire report will be released.
Very sensitive legal process, and once that process has been, it cannot be rushed. Once that process has been concluded, the internal stakeholders will be informed. But we also want to add that because now, as you would have seen, it has been a hive of activity here in Parliament with the return of members from the constituency program. Provision has been made on both the 4th and the 5th floor of the 90 Plain Street with regard to the construction and the renovation that will create more sufficient space for the physical return of members of Parliament.
Muthapo says when the actual construction of the two buildings is expected to start in February next year, it will take 2 years to be completed. Mercedes Besent, SABC News, Parliament.